Hey guys, it's Claire. Sorry I haven't been uploading a lot of videos this week. I have actually been really busy with Thanksgiving. My family's already in town. And then of course this whole Ferguson, um, the verdict came out and everybody's going crazy over that. So that's taken up a little bit of my time this week as well. On top of, everyday stuff such as working and of course getting ready for Thanksgiving. I guess I already said that. So anyway, I just wanted to I've been meaning to do a little bit of a Q&A. Um, because I get questions, I get lots of questions, and it's just easier sometimes to reply this way. I think sometimes I answer a question and people may not even go back and see it. So here's my Q&A, my first ever Q&A. So, and I'm not going to do all of them. I'm not going to do this video. It's not going to be about, the Weston A. Price people trying to talk to me. It's not about their questions. Um, This is about the other questions, mostly vegan people's questions. So somebody asked me, what are veggie bites? This is kind of a recent thing from one of my videos, losing more weight on Red 4. And veggie bites are just a snack from Kansas City. They're like, come in a little bag. It's Hillary's Eat Well. Hillary's Eat Well is the brand. And it just comes in a little package like this. And you can just, I used to put them on the George Foreman grill all the time. They're so good. But they have like hemp hearts in them, and they have like potatoes and carrots and sweet potatoes and kale, I know, is in there, a bunch of different veggies, and they just mix it all up and make these little bites out of them, and they're kind of like similar to tater tots, but with more veggies, basically. So that is that question. Where do I buy my dates from? Medjooldates.com is where I buy them from now. Let's see. Wait, did you say you're able to consume 3,000 calories a day on the Raw 4 diet? Yes, I am. I've eaten up to at least 6,000 calories in one day. And when I did that at the beginning, I actually lost weight. I lost 5 pounds in 2 weeks, eating 4, 5, and 6,000 calories all that week. So don't ask me how I went back to calorie restricting later on, but I did, unfortunately. So let's see if this is a question. No. Okay. Okay. Here's a question. Also, does it matter whether it's cooked carbs or fruit? I only ever eat rice, and I'm afraid of eating too much of it. I can't afford a fully raw diet. And actually, this is one that I have not replied to yet. Sorry, it's hard. I feel like none of my apps are synced up. Like I can't tell. I just don't like YouTube's comment setup. So does it matter? Yes, it absolutely matters. Cooked carbs are great, but honestly, I've never gotten a euphoric feeling off of eating them ever. Like a really, truly euphoric feeling like I do when I eat large amounts of fruit. I think that is your sign number one. Number two, you just can't get all of the same nutrients, all of those phytochemicals, the antioxidants, and the fiber as well. I really think you need a lot of different types of these super fibers to keep everything going through. And, I think it's okay for a short time. I mean, I've been on kind of a starch plan for not this past week, but the previous week or two, just because of money, kind of the same thing. And, but no, I don't think I don't think it's about eating too much rice. Eat it if that's all you have. You'll be fine for a while. But, you want to get a variety of fresh fruits and veggies in there as well, obviously. Um, so, I wouldn't worry about going fully raw at all. Just, 20 bananas before rice. That's awesome. That's perfect. I think that's great. So, question answered. If your local community find out you feed kids vegan, won't they burn you as a witch? I'm very open about being a vegan. I have made videos. I posted on my Facebook about them, all over my Facebook. Nobody is giving me crap. Everybody knows my kids are healthy and very healthy, in fact. My son broke his arm, and in less time than they told us 6 to 8 weeks, and it was less than 6. It was like 5 weeks that he got his cast off on. So that doesn't happen. My people know that. People know that I'm healthy. In fact, I'm more healthy than most of the people that I know. So it's very obvious that they can see, what's going on, and hopefully will help them to wake up. Got a question. How did you hear about this lifestyle? I had gone vegan or had gone vegetarian in April of 2013, and I think just learning more about that, and I just happened to stumble upon one of Freely's videos at first when I was just starting to go vegetarian. I was just like, oh, this is crazy. And then later on, when it was after somebody had posted the Weston A. Price vegetarian tour to my Facebook page and acted concerned about my vegetarian diet, that I actually started looking into it. And what I had done was search for people, where else can I find some information about this Weston A. Price? And I happened to stumble upon one of Durian Rider's videos. So I started to, I think, listen to him a little bit more at that point. Say, hey, wait a second, maybe this guy, maybe these guys do know what they're talking about. So from there, I just researched, and took a matter of days for me to decide. In fact, I decided abruptly just a couple days before last New Year's. So it was a really awkward time to find it out. Okay, got another Claire here. Yes, wondering if I drink. I do drink still. If you follow my Instagram, you'll know that, or some of my videos, I'll show it. I'll have a beer. I usually drink Heineken as my beer, and I usually just have margaritas. I do have some rum right now, and I'm going to be doing like a rum slush that my boyfriend and I like to do. And that's kind of like a once a year thing for the rum slush. I don't usually drink that much. I used to drink almost every single day. Like I used to drink, when I came home, before I would, make dinner, I'd already have a beer out. And I, on an average weekday back in the day, like a couple years ago or so, or even a year or so ago, it would have been 2, 3, maybe 4 even beers or so on a actual night. And I did have problems with it. If I got, too upset or depressed, sometimes I would just go get a bottle and just get way too smashed. And I would do that on my own. I never drink on my own anymore, ever. If I do, I'll still have maybe 1 glass of beer or something on the weekdays if I feel like it. It's 0 or 1 usually during the weekdays, which I said was down from 3 or 4. And then on the weekends, I may have 4, 5, maybe 6, if we have some drinks and then go bowling and then, a big night. But this is nothing compared to what I used to do. And, the hangovers now, I don't even get hangovers. I don't even drink enough to where I get a hangover. I feel a little bit groggy, a little bit dehydrated, but I just want to be clear. I'm not sitting there pounding a bunch of beers. We might have a couple with dinner and then go out and have a few while we're bowling and then come home on a Saturday night. And that's the extent of it. So I'm very open, very honest. I don't want to lead anybody the wrong way. And I'm obviously not into lying to anyone. How does that 7-grain milk taste? Geez, I'm glad I'm going through this because I just completely missed all of these. Hi, Curbsami, 7-grain milk tastes good. We get the vanilla kind, I think this was a week ago, so by now you probably have tasted it. Sorry. But I know the pomegranates, oh yeah, so good. They've really grown on me. Okay, the pumpkin cake, how do you make it? If you see the pumpkin cake in my videos, all it is 1 can of pumpkin and 1 box of cake mix. I've used the various different cake and muffin mixes. It doesn't really matter. This stuff is kind of thick and dense, more like a bread though, rather than a cake. So it'd be really great to put it in a bread pan and slice like bread if you did, and add nuts as well. And different things. Obviously, you can make a carrot cake or a banana cake. It does work if you use zucchini or bananas or applesauce instead of a can of pumpkin as well. So you can really go crazy. So let's see. And I'm sorry if I'm skipping any. Just, if you have a question that you were asking me and I hadn't answered it, please work with me and just ask me again. Keep asking. Some of these, there may have been a question stuck underneath. I'm just reading it, so I can only see the first parts. Oh, and I meant to respond to this one too. How do you do your order alone? What's in it and how did the painting go? I'm assuming that you're talking about the door-to-door organics order, and I'm not exactly sure. I should watch the video, I guess, to see what he's talking about. So, Ion Health, if I'm answering this really the wrong way, then let me know. But my door-to-door order, I just order it, and then it comes, and that's how I do it. That's probably not what you're talking about. What's in it? It's always different things. I usually get the bitty fruit box, and then I sub in a bunch of stuff, and I'll also add different things that you can just buy. The painting went great. In fact, I started to get different offers. I've had like numerous different people talking to my mom about in this town that she lives in about like becoming this mural painter, and I'm just like, she's like, you should go to get some business cards and stuff, and I'm like, this is like a favor thing, and I don't think I can handle that. So apparently, if you're in the mural business, it's pretty good. So, so go make some business cards. Okay, is that your real voice? I get this all the time because I mess around with the speed of the videos. And yes, I did get this idea from Veganamix. I think that's how he says it. I forget. But I'm sorry, I don't really feel like this is copying because really it's just a simple function on there. It's not like he made it up. So one person did say that to me. And I usually just speed it up by like 1.11 or 1.25. Used to speed it up more, but I realized it was too much. And again, I just do this because I tend to think that I kind of ramble and slow my words and I'll get lost in thought. And I just, when I'm watching it personally, rewatching it and editing it, I just really feel like it's taking forever. And I know that everybody's busy, so I'm just trying to like save you guys time. So some people like it, some people don't like it. I try not to do it now when it's getting too pitchy and too high because I've had people tell me it's annoying. So yeah. So what's wrong with protein? Okay, we've talked about this. Yes, too much is a bad thing. Maybe I'll do a complete video on this. I'm not going to talk about it for too long here, but the protein is actually bad for us to have in too much of an amount. It's bad for your kidneys. It turns into fat really easily. It's just not good for you at all. And I think it's funny because if you actually look at any food label, let's see if I have one around here. I don't think I do, but if you look at the food labels and you look down at protein, you'll notice that they don't usually put the percentage amount of how much you need. And I'm starting to really wonder, why did the government set that up like that? Because on all the other foods that you need a lot of, they put the percentage. And I think, it probably varies, but they all vary. So what's the difference? The difference is they don't want to they don't want us knowing how little protein we actually need. When you go to all these different, you can go to Kashi.com and they have actually like a protein calculator because like all their products are protein, and they will tell you need like 79. They told me like I need like 79 to 100 grams of protein. I'm like, really? I'm like 5'4", pretty small. So it's really funny. If you go over the World Health Organization's protein requirements, like myself, I need like less than like 53, 54 grams on and that's on a lot of activity. Like I said, the other ones were giving me like a number like 70 to 90. People are just getting out of control and thinking that more is better. And it's really, really not. People tell you all over the health, industry and all over the health like networks, you can always see people, don't forget your protein, got to get your protein. And for one, you will have a very hard time to be deficient in protein if you're eating. If you're eating enough calories, you're getting your protein. So you don't ever really need to be worried about lack of protein unless you are like anorexic or just can't get enough calories. It's not actually that good for muscles, from what I understand. For building muscle, keeping tone, obviously, look at Freely and Durian. And really, it's just a big hoax that you need a lot of extra protein. And it's people that are trying to sell you protein are basically telling you that. So look it up, do the research on your own, look at the World Health Organization, see what they say, how much protein we actually do need. And, try it out, before you knock everybody else. Have you ever gone on a low protein diet? People think it's unheard of these days. And that's what I was saying. People walk around and just tell you to put more protein on your food without any second thought as to, is this good for me? Is there an amount that is too much? Or even how much should I be giving? Like, we're trying to hit all of these levels, this many fruits and vegetables a day, this many, antioxidants, and then you come along with protein and nobody tells you to just add enough or to just add this much. It's just the attitude is the more the merrier. And even for kids, nobody even knows. You ask parents who are so focused on protein for breakfast before school and yada, yada, yada. They don't even know the gram, how many grams should, or even a percentage of what their child should have every day. And I think it's very, 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 very irresponsible to just be, randomly giving children all so much extra protein just because you think they need it, when you're not actually looking at, well, are they getting enough of the other foods? Are they getting enough fiber? It's like all of a sudden protein is the only thing that matters. No. When's fiber going to have its day, So yeah, nothing wrong with protein inherently, but except for the animal protein, obviously it's horrible. But yeah. Rant over. Again, I may do a video about that later, getting into more in depth, but that is my basic rant. Looks like it's working for you and enjoying it too. Yes, I am. Okay. Just wondering, I get this one a lot too. When my body started to let go of the weight, everybody, this and the voice is probably my most asked question. And I always say the same thing. I don't think I'm a very good person to compare necessarily for weight loss in the beginning, because like I said earlier, the first 2 weeks of this diet, I was eating 4, 5, and 6,000 calories, and I lost 5 pounds. And that was probably the lowest I'd ever been. Because when I started this diet, I was pretty low as well. And so what happened was I lost another 5 pounds, and then, I went a good, actually, I don't know how long it was. If that was a couple weeks, and it was probably still mid-January or so. By February, I had started to really do some cheating on the diet. I cheated just on being a vegan in general. I cheated on a lot of the high fat stuff. It was Valentine's Day, and I went to a funeral where I ate a bunch of food, and I really felt like each time I cheated like that, the fats that I ate just really threw me off for weeks to come. And so it kind of went into this spiral where after that, and for the next few months after that, I was actually going back to my old ways of, calorie restriction, and even just on a subtle level. And so that obviously caused me to do more and more cheating throughout those few months. And I would say that I didn't really even get a handle on it until probably about month 5. I don't know. I may have to go back and look at my videos. It's all there. But basically, by month 5, I kind of was finally wrapping my head around this fact that you have to eat and that it doesn't work. I couldn't just take Freely's word for it, or anybody else's word for that matter. I had to actually try it for myself. And my stubborn little brain is sitting there saying, well, you really want to be skinny, so let's just try, restricting. We'll try restricting for a couple days and then eating normal. And then I realized, no, even this like calorie rotation stuff, if you take it to a certain level, it doesn't help. And I would always gain it back no matter what. So I finally, my inner and my outer matched up, and my subconscious kind of realized, okay, this is true. And it's becoming easier and easier, eating better and better. So, and then I would say it wasn't until about 10 months. So I would say a good another 5 months of eating pretty darn well, still cheating on fats, cheating sort of and saving them for the weekend. And, I'm not exactly sure exactly where my fats are. But I know throughout the week I'm mostly 95-5, and I would say on the weekend I'm mostly 80-10-10. So I would say I'm doing it right, even though I know I am cheating, here and there a little bit. So I would say, if you want to say I started at 5 months, when I actually got good, it took me about 5 months before I started to really see a difference. And the interesting part about that is, for the first couple of those 5 months, I was probably still working out, but now, like, I'm really hardly working out at all, honestly. Like, I'm not running very long distances. none of it. So, all with all of those variables, I probably could have done it faster. I would have been maybe 5 months or so before I started to really notice the difference. So, have I read the China study? This is one of the Weston A. Price people, and I actually am in the process of reading it right now. Have I read the Weston A. Price physical degeneration and all that, nutrition? No, I haven't, but I have skimmed it, and I've read a lot about it. And I have read large portions of it as well. So, are you sure the rice isn't cooked in chicken stock? Yes, but I was not sure that they're vegan, so that Chili's rice is not vegan, in case you're wondering about that. Do my kids eat like I do? Have kids too and have a tough time getting them to eat vegan. I do, and I've always been kind of a stickler about food. When my kids were younger, I raised them on. First, I started with like homemade quinoa mush instead of like a rice cereal. I would make my own rice cereal, make my own quinoa cereal, and things like that. And I would even give them like quinoa milk and almond milk and things like that I would make myself. And also my kids have always eaten just very, very healthy, a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruits. And so they're not very picky to begin with. And so I have a couple of tips for this when you're feeding kids and they won't get them to eat their vegetables. Like when you're get some veggies and fruits and stuff that you can have out and set out for before when they're hungry, when they're starting to get hungry, when you're cooking, and that way, they'll just go and that's what's there. If they're really that hungry, they'll eat the fruits and veggies that are being made. So I always usually try to put out some healthy foods before, and I especially did that when my kids were younger. So now that obviously they love salad. They don't have a problem with eating any of the fruits and veggies, and obviously they eat what's there in front of them now. And that's kind of how I deal with it, and how I've been dealing with it. I don't force them to eat like I do all the time. It's just that I'm only going to, support the industries and the companies that I want. So I'm not going to, it's a very rare occasion that I still will buy them any meat or veggies. For a very special occasion or like a backup plan or something, if I'm on the go, like I may, let them eat some junk food. Obviously something I would never eat. But for the most part, they do. They eat what I give them. And that's because they know that, they're not going to get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich afterwards. I'm very against that. If they don't eat it, they don't eat it. Sometimes I'll let them make small, things if I feel like the food wasn't very good or something like that. But for the most part, they do. They eat what I'm eating all through the week with me, but they do still eat their school lunches, so they're getting still a lot of, extra protein and fats and unhealthy stuff there. So yeah, for the most part, they do eat vegan. And for tips that I would say, I would say just keep talking to them about it. My kids are always like, we're always talking about it, and they understand now. And even though they're not fully vegan, they're starting to, turn down the cow's milk more often because they know what it is. They know the issues with it. And, I wouldn't really worry about making them go vegan all of a sudden. I would just, try to keep on, keeping them aware, helping them understand, and just getting as many fruits and veggies in there, regardless if they're eating, other things on the side. So, do vegans believe that mother's milk is healthy for a baby? Yes, we do. What's your take on eating a lot of cooked carbs? I'm fine with it. I do it for a backup. I think the backup there is there for a reason, and it's really only your business whether you need to enable that backup plan. And again, it doesn't have to be just eating cooked carbs for dinner. Durian Ryder has said before, you can have cooked carbs for breakfast if you want and still technically be relative for it. It's not a resolute, time. So he says, seems a lot of people are claiming relative 4 won't work unless you eat about 1/3 of your calories or less from cooked carbs. And I would say that I don't really believe this at all. If your activity level is high, you can eat whatever the fuck you want. So I would say if you're eating a lot of cooked calories, you might gain more weight. You might lose weight harder, but I would say it's absolutely possible. And I wouldn't believe anybody who says, oh, it won't work at all. Again, if you feel like you just can't stop eating as much and you don't want to, just make sure your activity level goes up. It may affect your progress, but again, I think it's more important to be healthy. And from what I've seen, sleep is a big part of it. And a lot of times people's sleep will suffer when they're completely raw. And, I just feel like right now, I don't think that going fully raw would help me because I'm not motivated. I'm not ready. Different things. I think it would be a very rough detox for me, maybe even at this point. I don't know. Kind of rambling, but yeah, I definitely believe in if you're, if you need to save the money or whatever, then definitely. And like I said earlier, the fibers and the special, all those special ingredients in fruit, you're not going to find all of those in rice. So, weigh it out and try to eat as much as possible, but, you can still do it. You can still do it. And while they do affect your body a little bit differently, overall, it's the same thing. So what's going on with my voice? How long did it take you to notice changes? So, why do you keep equating Weston egg price with fast food? Yeah, why do you equate all vegan diets as being the same as each other? Okay, so I think this will probably be good for now. I'm down to some really, well, this is about a month ago. How long did it take? So yeah, this is, have I ever tried BB2 in a banana smoothie? Yes, I have, and it's delicious. Why not use coconut sugar instead? I do use coconut sugar. I got some organic cane sugar, 100% cane sugar from Costco. I feel no different on either of those, so I use them both. Why don't I call it a diet and a lifestyle? I do call it a diet sometimes, and that's just, because that's what the context that I'm talking about it in is probably about weight loss at that point. But of course, I really do realize that this is a lifestyle. And, okay, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end this. So if you have any new questions, just post them, and I will be doing another Q&A next month. Thanks, guys. Don't forget to eat your food.